Twilight has a large cast of characters, and, like many series before it, these characters developed their own followings. Of course, also like other series, Twilight's side characters are often even more beloved than the protagonists. Even those who couldn't care less about Twilight, or who hate Edward and Bella, can't help loving the likes of Alice or Emmett. However, there are fans who aren't interested in the vampires at all. For those who have written Twilight off, there is a character which has managed to endear skeptics and fans alike. Almost everyone can agree that Charlie Swan is awesome. He has his flaws, and he's made mistakes. But Bella's dad is easily more popular than his daughter. And, like most of the characters in the Twilight saga, he has his own backstory. It doesn't take becoming a vampire to be interesting after all. Charlie might just be a small-town cop, and a single dad to a teen daughter. But his backstory, while simple, is relatable, particularly to those who've gone through a rough breakup or had to navigate the murky waters of divorce and child custody. Before we continue, I'm Riley and this is Otherworldly Fiction. On this channel I discuss books, explain lore and character facts, share my bookish opinions, and offer the occasional writing advice. If any of this sounds like your cup of blood, hit that subscribe button. Posts are on Fridays. Charlie's life wasn't an easy one. Even in his teens, he, like Bella, felt like something of an outsider. Born in Forks, to his parents Jeffrey and Helen, he was close to Harry Clearwater and Billy Black. However, he sensed a distance between him and his friends. While he attributed it to the fact he wasn't a member of their tribe, the slight wall between them was actually the result of their need to conceal the more supernatural elements of their culture. Billy and Harry never phased, as vampires were absent in Forks at the time, but they remained the keepers of the secret, having seen their older relatives shift into wolves. Furthermore, Charlie's parents had him at an older age, which meant that, just as he was coming into his youth, they were coming into old age and all the problems that entailed. Charlie's parents, at 40, had believed they couldn't have children. As such, Charlie's arrival was a happy surprise, but their having Charlie late would have its consequences. Just as Charlie was preparing to attend college, his parents' health took a turn for the worse. His mother began to develop Alzheimer's, and his father was nearly crippled by excruciating arthritis. Feeling obligated to care for his parents, Charlie chose to remain in town. Thankfully, he was able to find a position within the Forks Police Department, a job he was good at. It was in the summer, his first as a police officer, when Charlie met the woman who would become his wife. On a trip with her friends, Renee chose to stop at the local La Push beach. There, she met Charlie, and there was an immediate chemistry between the pair. Renee continued her trip, but promised to return to Forks at its conclusion. The marriage between Charlie and Renee was rapid, which would contribute to its later downfall. Having only been involved for a few weeks, they tied the knot, and Renee found she was pregnant. The first months of their marriage were blissful, but their euphoria was short-lived. Following Bella's birth, reality set in. Renee was a free spirit, a romantic and an adventurer. Soon, she felt trapped within the tiny town. With a newborn baby, and a husband who couldn't leave because of his ailing parents, she saw no way out. It didn't help that her hormones following the birth were causing her depression. She had postpartum. Renee asked Charlie if they could move somewhere warm and sunny, but Charlie wasn't able to leave his parents. They required daily care, particularly his mother. Jeffrey was in rough shape and couldn't care for an Alzheimer's patient alone. When Bella was only a few months old, Renee left, taking Bella with her. Her sudden departure hit Charlie hard. Though he allowed Renee to divorce him and take custody of Bella, he remained in love with her. He saw Bella during summers, and in later years, Bella would notice that the house remained the same. Renee's paint job, among other small signs, pointed to Charlie's continued affections for Renee, a fact that made Bella feel awkward. 4 years after his family left, Charlie experienced yet more loss. He lost his first parent and, half a year after that, his second. Suddenly, Charlie was alone. His wife and daughter were gone, and his parents were deceased, leaving him to throw himself into his work. With only his job to concentrate on, he eventually rose to the position of chief. Billy and Harry were a great help to Charlie, offering support and companionship. It remained their tradition to go on fishing trips, and the friendship between Charlie and Billy deepened during this period. After Billy's support, Charlie returned the favor. Having lost his wife Sarah to a car accident, Billy was helped through this tough period of his life by Charlie. It was only when the Cullens moved to Forks that something of a dispute occurred between Charlie and Billy. Their friendship wasn't ended, but Billy's attitude towards the Cullens rankled Charlie. Billy, of course, knew the truth. The Cullens were vampires, and, treaty or no treaty, having vampires in the area would present challenges for the tribe. With Carlisle assuming a position as a local doctor, the tribe boycotted the hospital. When Billy seemed to agree with the sentiments of the other tribe members, avoiding the hospital, Charlie grew frustrated. Carlisle was an accomplished doctor, and Charlie could see the difference he was making. He respected the Cullens and disagreed with Billy's strange opinion. Eventually, as readers know, Bella moved in with Charlie when she was 17. Both were introverted and awkward, and Charlie had never been a natural conversationalist. But in the 2 years he was able to grow closer to his daughter. What's more, he was given a glimpse into the supernatural. Though he'd remain unaware of the existence of vampires, he knew that Jacob could turn into a werewolf, and that Bella was different. Furthermore, Charlie watched his granddaughter age at a rapid rate. Within 7 years, Renesmee would age into an adult before her human grandfather's eyes. Though operating on a need-to-know basis, Charlie didn't love his daughter or granddaughter any less for their mysterious differences. Plus, Harry's widow, Sue, developed feelings for Charlie. Sue, as the mother of 2 werewolves, knew the truth. Therefore, she could help Charlie to navigate the slightly weirder world and family he found himself in. While Renee would be kept ignorant of the paranormal, Charlie's resilient nature was such that Bella trusted he could, like her, deal with the weird. Charlie was even acknowledged in his granddaughter's name. While the name Renesmee was a combination of Renee and Esme, her middle name, Carly, was a mixture of Carlisle and Charlie. Plus, though her hair was as red as her father's, Renesmee's curls came from her grandpa. With her obvious resemblance to Edward, Bella, and Charlie himself, Charlie had no doubt, despite Bella's short pregnancy, that Renesmee was his biological granddaughter. In the alternate reality story, Life and Death, Twilight Reimagined, Charlie's conclusion was rather more tragic. Bella's male counterpart, Beau, became a vampire by the end of the book. As this event was unplanned, the Cullens faked Beau's death, leaving Charlie to contend with his son's funeral. While most of the characters had their gender swapped, Charlie was one of the few who remained unaltered, and he was left oblivious to the truth, that his child lived, albeit as a vampire. Worried about his father, the most Beau could do was encourage Bonnie, Billy's female counterpart, to look after Charlie, as well as to let him know if there was anything he could do to help his father out, if secretly. In conclusion, Charlie's story isn't an action-packed thriller. He never seeks out revenge on anyone. There aren't any suicides or murders, and there are no battles or instances of the paranormal outside his best friends having the wolf gene. However, Charlie's story is as interesting and dramatic as any other character's, perhaps because of his being human. Facing the everyday but very human challenges of divorce, parental death, and loneliness, Charlie's struggles were as great as any vampire's. His story is a real one. His life, one many of us humans can relate to. Plus, even awkward as he was, Charlie's affection for his daughter is obvious. Wanting to protect her and to do the right thing, Charlie endeared readers. His aloof nature, his care for Bella, his flaws, and even his devotion to Renee combined to make a character readers couldn't help rooting for. Even those who disliked Bella or her romance couldn't help adoring Charlie, making him one of the more popular characters after Alice. Charlie, with his relatable backstory and likable persona, deserves, in this reader's opinion, his own spin-off novel. Who is your favorite side character from Twilight? Do you like Charlie's character? Are there any Charlie fanfictions you'd like to recommend? Sound off in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and happy reading!